Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Tree of Life pendant. I've hung a little bead on the bottom. I've put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make this pendant. Also there are links to my Etsy shop and my Facebook page. And I'd love to see all your finished work. Pop over to Facebook and share on my page. That would be awesome. At the minute I'm having a 50% off on my Etsy shop of my PDFs. So if you want to pop over and have a look, there's a link in the description below along with all my affiliate links for my tools. To make this pendant you'll need 1.5mm wire, that's 14 gauge, and I've cut one length at 10 inches, that's 26 centimetres. You'll need 0.315mm wire, that's 28 gauge, and I've cut 25 lengths at 7 inches, that's 18 centimetres. You'll need 0.8mm wire, that's 20 gauge, and that's just a little 3-inch piece, so I'm going to add a little bead to hang off the bottom of the piece. If you don't want to do that, then that's fine. You'll need a round cabochon. This is flat backed and it's 25mm across, so you can use any size stone you like. I think it's best that it's circular. You just have to make your thicker wire longer if you're using a bigger one. Beads, I've got an 8mm bead and two 3mm beads. Jump rings, I've got two 10mm outside measurement jump rings, and I've made a little triple jump ring. So you can use just 3 if you like, or you could make a triple one. This is 8mm outside measurement and the other ones are 10. I mean, it's entirely up to you, you can use whatever you like really. Tools, because we're working with this really thick wire, you don't want to wreck any of your good tools, so we're going to use really strong or old tools today. These are my old cutters, so if you've got any oversized cutters then that would be ideal. I'm using bale pliers instead of round nose pliers because they're tougher. This thick wire, it will wreck your round nose pliers, and you need some sturdy pliers, so I'm going to use my bent nose pliers. I think that's everything. Let's get started. So take your chunky thick wire and your stone, and we're going to shape our wire to start with. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the edge of the stone. Now this doesn't have to be accurate because this is going to be on the back. It doesn't have to be tidy because we're not going to see it. But we'll try and get it as nice as we can. It's only the top part that you're going to see. So positioning your stone in the middle of the wire, we're going to gently bend the wire around the stone. This wire is very tough. So we want a rough circle shape to start with. So there we go. So now take your bale pliers, and I'm going to use this second size. So you don't want something too thin, just a little bit thicker. And I'm going to position it like this, so I'm gripping it right at the bottom there. I'm going to grip it nice and tight. I'm going to bend this wire up this way, and then I'm going to bend this wire around as well. So we've got a loop on the bottom there, and we've still got a circle shape on the top. Does that make sense? So I've got a circle shape first, grabbed it with my bail pliers on the second size, and then just bent it around until I've ended up with that shape. Oops, it's not very straight, I'll sort that out in a minute. And we want to keep that circle shape. Now this circle needs to be smaller than the stone. It's going to sit at the back, we need it to sit about there, and we need it to be smaller than the stone. So that you can't see it from the front. All we can see is the loop at the bottom where our bead's going to go, and your two wires at the top that we're going to shape next. So you want it to be about that size. And then when you're happy with that, we need to bend the wire up out of the way. And it is very tough, this wire. Try and keep the shape of it. So both our wires are going up. So this is what I've got. I'm just going to straighten it up so it's all level. So take your cutters, we're going to shape the top, but we're not going to join it. We'll join it at the end once we've got all our tree wires on there. So take your cutters and we want to give about that much length. So we've got just less than an inch there at the top. Do the same for the other side. So make sure you are using old tools or oversized tools on this one. So that's what we've got so far. So now taking your bail pliers, I'm going to use the smallest part this time, and I'm going to shape these top pieces now. So I'm going to grab hold of the end, making sure that the smaller piece is the piece I'm going to wrap around, and I'm just going to start to shape the end of that wire. And curl it around to make a nice little shape like that. Do the same for the other side. You can hear my bones cracking. This is really, really tough wire. There we go. So you've got a nice little curly shape on the top. So that's the base of our tree, and our stone is going to go to the front like that. And those wires, we will join them together later on. So now we'll move on to our branches. You're going to take all your weaving wire, split it roughly in half. With doing this tree part, it's entirely up to you how you do it. What I do is very random, so take what I do and do it your own way and see how you feel about it as you go. So I'm going to take 2 wires to start with. I'm going to bend them in half. I'm going to pop it through the middle like that. And then I'm going to twist the wires around like that. And then I'm going to take some more. I'm going to take 3. You can take as many or as amount as you want to go, pick them up. So we're just putting half on, and then we'll put the other half on the other side. Again, find the middle part. And then loop that over the top. And twist all 3. And then I'm going to take 1, find the middle of that. Twist that on. And you're going to keep going in this kind of fashion until you've added all of those wires on one side, and then take the other half and start adding those on the other side. In groups of 1, 2 and 3, I'd say, as random as you like. So I've added all my wires and I've twisted them quite a lot. So all of the ends, about 1 inch, probably a bit less, they're all twisted. And what we're going to do is we're going to join all these wires together and positioning our stone there. These wires have to come over the stone to the front there. Now you can, if you want to, grab all your wires and just twist them all together, but I'm going to do it a bit more random than that because I want a few bigger roots, shapes. So again, as random as you like, I'm going to take 3. I'm going to twist those. Position the stone, because if you don't, when you put your stone on in a bit, you lose all your detail at the back there. So it's best to bend them over the stone and then start twisting them together. And then I'm going to take 2. I'm going to twist those together. Then I'll twist these 2. So we've got root shapes starting to form. Do the same on this side. So I'll have 1, and then I'll twist 2. And then I've got 2 left, I've twisted those already. So putting all the roots back together at the top there. I want to bring them over the stone. And then we're going to carry on twisting them together. So like I say, it's completely random what you do. A little bit fiddly at this stage, it'll get easier in a minute. And we're just going to shape our roots. Keep twisting, pulling them around the stone and twist them all together into one big tree. Middle section. But it is fiddly to show you how to do this, so I'm going to carry on twisting them together and then I shall come back and show you what I've got. So I've just kept on twisting random ones together. There I have the bottom of my tree. And now we have to shape top part. And again, this is all very random. I'm just spreading them out so I can see which order they're going to end up lying in. So we want to do again what we've done at the bottom there, taking 2s and 3s. We'll twist all these into branches and then join them together, just like we did for the bottom. But now our branches are going out instead of coming in, so it is a little bit easier now. So that bunch has kind of formed a branch, so I shall twist that. And if this is hard on your hands, you can always use your pliers to do the twisting. And then I shall twist a few more. And then maybe only 2. So we're going to do this all the way around, and then here I would cross them over and twist them again, and then I'll bring this one down as that goes up and add that in and twist that in. So we're just doing random branches now throughout all over. So I've been just twisting branches. I've twisted some together and then pulled them apart. I've done that a few times. I've pulled some over from the other side and then separated those again and again. We want all single strands at the ends, so you need to separate. When you get to the ends, you need to separate out all the wires so we've got all single strands. And they all need to go one after the other all around the edge. But the rest of it is completely up to you what you do. I've got a bit of a space here, which I'm not very happy about, so I'm going to undo a few twists on that and then spread those out. So just keep fiddling with it and twisting and untwisting and until you're happy, and then go around the edge and make sure you've got all single wires next to each other that we're now going to attach to that back wire. It's a bit tricky holding the stone in, but it keeps the shape right. You might find it easier doing it without the stone there. You can even tape your stone down. You could tape your stone to the back. You could put some tape around it just to hold it in place. So when you're happy with your tree shape, we're going to start attaching the wires. So make sure your stone is pushed right down in place and hold it all firmly in place. And we'll start with the lowest wire. And you want to go around that back wire and pull it. You want it quite low. Then I'll go around it again. I'll go around it again. Whoop. So you've got your first wire attached. And then find your next one. And you can do this randomly as well. You can grab 2 and go, I'm going to wrap those around together. But you really need to space them out, so just 1s and 2s, so you have got lots of thin bits towards the edges, because if you imagine a tree, it's all thick in the middle, but as it gets to the edges you get these really little fine branches. And then we're going to shape all the branches in a minute, so it won't look like this, it will look a bit better when we're done. So now we just need to go round. I'm going to start at the bottom here, I'm going to do a few on this side, then I'm going to go over to this side and do a few on this side, and keep checking the position of your stone to make sure it's in place. Soon as you've got your sides in, it should start holding the stone better in place, and just slowly keep adding the wires around the back all the way up the sides. So I've done a bunch on this side. Now I'm going to do a bunch on this side, adding them one at a time, and maybe the occasional two. So I've now attached that side, and that'll hold the stone better in place. And I can carry on attaching the rest of them now to the top, spreading them about a bit. So I hope I've made myself clear what I'm doing here. What I'm doing is I'm taking a single wire, the next one in line that I want to go and attach, and I'm wrapping it around the back wire. Pull it down to where I want it to be. Make sure it's nice and tight and the stone is down. Then I go around it again, just around that back wire where the loop is. And I do that a few times. I go around it at least twice so it holds it in place. And I'm going to cut all these wires in a bit, as close to the backs there as I can, so you haven't got the sharp edges. And that's all I'm doing. I'm going to keep attaching the branches around the thick wire at the back. So I've attached all my tree wires now, and at the very top I've brought them up here and just wrapped them around the top there. And I'm going to take a longer one at the top. That's my dog running around if you can hear her. And I'm going to go around these top two just to hold them together. And we want this wrap to be on the top. To pull them together. Go around that a few times. And hold everything together. And then I'll wrap around that side to finish it off. And now we need to cut all these ends. So pulling them all nice and tight before you cut them, and then cut them nice and flush at the base where they come out around there. So I'm going to use my good cutters instead of using my old ones, because they won't cut them as nice. And we need to get it right in and cut each of these quite close to the back so we don't have any sharp bits. And then we need to flatten all that down. So go around, cut them all off. And then when you're done with cutting them, you need to squeeze them down to secure those ends. We need to do that all the way round. So I've cut all those tail ends off and I've squeezed them in. So you're squeezing them nice and tight around that wire so you haven't got any sharp ends. So now we need to shape our tree. So take some pliers. I'll start at the bottom. We're just going to grab the branches and just put a little twist in. So I'm twisting them one way, and then I'll twist that the other way. And we're just going to shape the branches so they sit more interesting than what they are. I've got a nice twist here, so I'm going to exaggerate that by bending them out. And I'll bend that round too. And I'll put a bend in the next one. I'll bend this one the other way. So just go round and shape your branches. I just go over the whole thing, and it just gives it a bit of character, because we've got a lot of straight ends here and we need to lose all of those. So just put some bends and twists in your wires. You can grab 1 or 2 or 3 and just shape them, because branches don't generally lie straight, so we want to lose all those straight parts and make them all a little bit twisted. Go around and do that for the whole thing. So you don't have to do this, but I do recommend that you do, because it adds a nice bit of character to it. I've done this side and I haven't done this side, and you can see how it just looks a bit more tree-like. You've got very straight edges here, and here I've squiggled everything. And you've got to do it to the main base as well, the main trunk. So there we are, I've twisted up all my branches and roots. So starting to look more like a tree now. I'll just miss that one on the top. So I've added my jump rings, and I've decided to do it different to how I first planned. I've added 2 smaller ones, those are 8mm outside measurement, to the main rings there, to the main shape of the base. And then this jump ring here is 10mm outside measurement. So that scoops into those. And then my triple jump ring on the top goes through that top ring as well. And I think that finishes it off quite nice. I was going to do something similar, but I thought it would look better with the smaller rings here and the bigger rings here. That's my dog woofing in her sleep. So I'll put a temporary cord on just to show you. I haven't made my cord yet. So that's my top finish. That's how I'm going to attach the jump rings. I like that. So all I need to do now is make the little bead attachment for the bottom. So to make the little extra dangly bead bit, you'll need just shorter length of wire. Just cut the top off so it's flat. Can't remember saying if you need round nose pliers for this one, but you do. We're going to round the top, and we want it not too small. I'll do it quite big because it's got to go around that big jump ring. So we're going to put a little loop in the top, and then we'll add the beads. So we'll have 3mm bead, then the 8mm bead, then the other 3, and then take your round nose pliers. We just want a little loop at this end, so we'll go more towards the end. Wrap it around the pliers. And then we'll go around the bead at the top, around the body of the big bead in the middle, then around the small bead at the bottom. We've got ourselves a dangly little bead. So I need to clip that off. Squeeze that around to finish it off. And then I'm going to attach that to the bottom ring of the pendant. So it attaches and sits like that onto that bottom ring. And that's it, we have it. Our finished Tree of Life pendant. I hope you found this tutorial easy to follow. And I just want to remind you all, I've got a 50% off all my tutorials on my Etsy shop at the moment. Until Monday. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!